Alright, here's a close-up of the ball joint. Right here. It's pretty bad. Before we get into this, dump the mud out of these things because Alright, so Grizzly 660 upper ball joints welded in for some reason. It's going to be the BJ 114, and I'll show you exactly which one it is. These, when you weld them, if you're not super careful and let all the heat dissipate, or you don't let all the heat dissipate, then it melts the cup and they'll be ruined in the first ride. And so these are Grizzly 700 ball joints that are for 2009, 2010. And the reason why that's important is that that's the same taper as the knuckle. I went through quite a few of these to find this one. So I'll show you the listing real quick. Right here. 0.38 inches on the top, 2.63 on that. But yeah, it says 2 upper ball joints for Yamaha Grizzly 700 F5 four-wheel drive YFM 700 2009-2010. Caltrick. Gotta love to hate them. The audio in the next couple minutes got ruined from fans and respirator. It was just pretty bad. So I'm just going to talk over what I was doing, how I did it. Basically, our starting point, 4.5 inch grinder, cutoff wheel, zip it in until it bottoms out on the spindle. If you had like a 6-inch grinder, you could just lop the whole thing off, but with a 4.5 inch, basically you get to this point and then you need to make a straight cut down to chop it off to where you can come in at like a better angle. And what you're trying to do is just get it like as flush as possible as a starting point, just so it's just less material for you to have to cut out next. And then so the next step would be either swap to a grinding disc or keep using the cutoff wheel, I guess. And then you're trying to dish it out to where you can get that ball out of there. And that's mainly for the purpose of just having less material to grind. So once you can pop that ball out, pop the ball out, and then you keep going, you keep dishing it out, and you're looking for a seam to form where basically you've grinded out the weld and you can see the housing where it's meeting the control arm and it's no longer welded as one piece anymore. And once you can start seeing that seam on the majority of it, like I would say at least like 3/4 of it, then you're ready to flip it over and do the other side. Now the other side sucks. This is by far like the most difficult part of it, is grinding out this bottom side. And on the 660, like anything that's welded in is going to have potentially like a different like curve in the control arm or whatever, but on this one, the 660, like the curve makes it to where if you use a cutoff wheel, you're just going to chop too much into that control arm, which you could do and weld it back up, I guess, like in a pinch. But I have access to some Dremel cutoff wheels, so that's what I'm using, and that's what I'd recommend because they do work and they do this job relatively well just because of their size and the angle that you have to work with. So the outside's cake. The outside's not that big of a deal. You have, plenty of angles, but the inside where that curve is on the control arm is the tricky part. So basically what you're wanting to do is you're just wanting to put straight lines. Don't be trying to get all fancy and put like a curved cut in it or anything. Just cut it out straight lines like this, and chop it down deep enough and at an angle to where it's going to penetrate the weld. And then once you do that, you are going to start beating on it back and forth, and you'll be able to see it start moving a little bit and kind of get an idea where you need to go back and, you know, grind it out a little bit, touch it up, grind it out a little bit, and then finally you can get it knocked out. There it is. Alright, let me show you how ugly everything is. No fancy camera work or anything. So, that's been flattened. Just stick a screwdriver in there and straighten that out. Missing material right here. That's fine. I'm going to add weld to that. Literally cracked the metal. That's fine. Can add weld to that. I think that's just paint that cracked there from it flexing and bending. This side's actually pretty clean. So here's the remainder of the cup that we were trying to get out. So then we get our new ball joint. It's basically going to fit down in there, and we're going to utilize this lip right here. So I believe this should probably be the design of like a lower, where it goes through and then we put that clip right here. But instead, this is an upper, and we're going to use that lip to weld. As you can see, we're halfway there already. So we'll do that, and we're going to pull that boot off. And trust me, don't think you're MacGyver and tap this out and try to put a zerk in there. There's like no room at all for, you'll have to customize the zerk, and you'll have to make the zerk like one thread, and you're going to drill into that nylon cup and probably crack it. Alright, so we used a burr bit. We don't need to take all that off. What we need to do is make it fit. And when I squared this up a little bit, hi buddy, squared that up a little bit to where that sits basically flush, spread this out, got that gap back in there, and we're ready to take this boot off and weld. Alright, we got 2 tacks just to kind of get things started. We're going to wait until this thing is absolutely cool. And I'm gonna do the other one, tack the other one, and let this cool, let it sit in front of this fan, and we're gonna wait for it to be cold. And then the next thing I'm gonna do, I'll show you, is I'm gonna do a weld, probably about like this. That's it. And then do it on the other one, then let it cool. And then I'll come over here, probably do this side, and then do this side, and I'll do like a 4 points, and then we'll fill it in, and we'll just do it like this much at a time, and that's it. And absolutely do not play with this while that's hot. I'll be bumping it, I'll be playing with it. And we'll let this thing get absolutely cold to the touch every time we put a little weld on it. Alright, that's how much weld I put on it. And I'm just going to do the same thing over and over. Let it get cool to the touch, like absolutely cold, do something else, and then just stick that much heat into it and repeat. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8 times 2. So it's going to take like half hour, 45 minutes of just a little bit here, a little bit there, and waiting. Here's what my sections are looking like. So I guess I got 3 on that one, 4 on this one. That one didn't do good, and I just stopped. You don't want to Normally you just go back over it, but you got to think you're on like a time crunch. You got X amount of time. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Fix it the next time. Alright, there's the top done. Now we need to do the bottom. This is a little trickier because all this is exposed. So you get you a sacrificial socket. Fits over that. Where that boot can still go down in here, and it's going to clip like right there. So we want to protect that. So we'll put that on there like that. And then just like the factory, it just had a weld right here and a weld back there. So we're going to do 4 spots. We'll do this much here, and then 2 in the back, and then we're done. Well, there is the finished product. And so the real test, there should have been minimal boiling of this grease. The real test is to see if this joint is still tight. So that's what you want, is for this joint to still be tight. If it's not tight, I mean, you could go ahead and run it, but you'll be doing this again probably after a couple rides. So these turned out really good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a paper towel and some compressed air, and I'm going to try to blow out this grease. This grease has been, heated up and basically melted. And I'm going to pack in some grease. I'm going to just blow out what I can here. And then I'm going to try to pack in some grease. And then I'm going to pack it into the boot whenever I put the boot back on. By the way, I found this on the floor. This is what we're trying not to melt. The fact that the originals had a bead all the way around it and this isn't melted makes me think what they did is they put this piece in first, welded it, and then a machine plunged that in there, like into this part, forced that into there, and then filled it, however they make ball joints, and did that after. Because there's no way that you could run a full bead around that and not melt this stuff.